I'm Mary Pipino, and welcome to Fit for You, the show that teaches you how to live a healthier and more fit lifestyle. Today, we're going to talk about personal training, and I'm joined by my friend and one of the best personal trainers I know, Robin Daprile. You're going to get some interesting tips. I think you're going to get motivated, and I think you're going to want to try personal training if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I'm happy to introduce you to my friend and one of the best personal trainers I know, Robin Daprile. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me.
The viewers may recall several months ago we did a show on wrestling with my stepson Steven.
Yes.
And your darling son Steven was on.
Yes, he was.
And he's doing great, as I understand.
Yes, he's doing very well, thank you.
In his senior year.
Yeah.
And finishing up, going on to college.
Yes, he's going to be leaving us in the fall, so.
We'll tell him we send our best.
Oh, thank you, Mary. I will.
And he's very fortunate because he has the benefit of having you as his mom, and I know you've done some work with him and the team, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But
okay.
Let's talk about you, because I think personal training is such an important component, especially for people that have never worked out or intimidated about working out.
Yeah.
And if you're into working out, you know, it's nice to have a personal trainer work with you to give you some different ideas, challenge you a little bit more, because sometimes we get into a rut.
Definitely.
Tell me, how did you get started in this?
Well, I was actually a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 boys, and I was looking to do something, and I was working out with a trainer, and I was really getting into it. You know, it was not something I thought I'd like, but I just fell in love with it. And I just mentioned to my trainer one day, what do you think about me getting certified in doing this? And he said, go for it. So he helped me.
How long ago was that?
That was 9 years ago.
Okay, and what got you started to say, I want to contact a trainer?
Well, you know what? I really didn't think I needed one. I thought I was healthy and fit. My husband threw his back out, and he went to a trainer. He was going to trainer for maybe 3 months and loved it. And he's like, you have to try this. You have to do it. And I'm like, I don't need this. Then I tried it, and my tennis game got better. I was running a faster mile. I felt sexier and younger. I had more energy with the kids. I just fell in love with it.
And see, I think that's it. You just touched on something. You know, you feel so much better about yourself. And it wasn't necessarily about losing weight.
No.
It was more about getting fit. Mm-hmm. And I like people to focus on getting fit. The weight will come off.
Definitely.
But you just feel so much, like you say, better, more self-esteem.
Oh, definitely.
Talk about training is very intimidating. So a lot of people think, oh, I'd love to do this, but I don't know how, I don't know where to begin. I know you have some excellent advice for that. Okay,
well, as far as finding a trainer, I think I would talk to people that have a trainer and find out who they like. As far as being intimidated by a trainer, I know I was scared the first time I walked in. I was really nervous. So I like to tell people what to expect when you first walk in, your first time meeting a trainer. And most trainers are going to just sit down and talk to you first. They're going to have a conversation, and they're going to ask you why you're there and what you're looking for and what your health history is. And then they're going to do exercise testing, which is basic stuff. It's nothing scary. It's just push-ups, crunches. It's a sit and stretch to check your flexibility.
We're going to get into the testing,
okay.
But one of the things I liked when you get started, and you said the first session, you do spend a great deal of time talking to the individual.
I do.
About their lifestyle, about their eating habits. You want to get a good understanding of what they're currently doing, correct?
Yes. That's really important, and it's also really important for me to know what their health is at that time, whether they have any injuries, whether they're on medications, whether they have any health issues. A trainer needs to know how healthy you are before they start to work out with you, because they're not doctors. So most trainers are going to tell you, call your doctor, make sure they know you're doing this. If there's any restrictions that you need to follow, then we all work together.
And that's a great point, because we always tell our viewers, and number one recommendation, check with your doctor. Your doctor should definitely be a part of your lifestyle as far as your health and fitness is concerned.
Yes.
You don't just need them when you're sick.
Right.
You need them to help to focus on wellness.
Exactly. And a lot of doctors are really, they jump in on this. They love this. They love when their patients take their own health care into their own hands. And so they end up having very good conversations with their doctors that they never had before once they start getting involved.
And I think what people don't realize too about wellness is there are certain things that you may have a genetic propensity towards, and that could even be include diabetes.
Sure.
But incorporating health and wellness into your lifestyle really mitigates the negative impact that has on your life.
Definitely.
And the damage it does to your body.
Definitely.
And the long-term effect of your quality of life.
Sure, sure. We do have some control over that. I don't think we realize that, even if we have the genetic situation where I had high cholesterol, and it was just something my family had.
And you're a small person, right? Never had a weight problem.
Never been overweight, and it's not high, but it's up there, higher than you would think for somebody like me.
A fit person that eats well.
Yeah, it's just in my family. So
I have a couple people that have talked to me that are struggling with that, and they're very frustrated. They're eating better, and their doctors want them on maybe a small, some type of medication to just get that in check. And I said, if you're doing everything you can do, then I'm one who supports. If that's what your doctor says and you've gone so far.
I agree.
But there is a lot you can do, up to a point with diet and exercise.
Definitely. And a lot of people will go off their medicine with proper exercise, and once they get fit and they start focusing on their diet and their exercise, a lot of my clients have come down off their cholesterol, blood pressure medicine, or just at least lower their dosage.
Let's talk about too, so after you have your little chat, then you do your little testing.
I do.
And this test is something that you created. This is your own, correct?
Well, this is the IFPA up there certified through. There are recommendations. I follow pretty closely to what they recommend, but then over time you start adding your own little things. I always ask this new client, potential client, if they're comfortable with me measuring them, doing body fat and scale. Some people, especially if they have a weight issue, they just met me. They may not be comfortable starting into that right away. So I don't push it. I always say we can do that down the road. But then the exercise testing are just basic movements. There's 4 or 5 different movements: the push-up, the pull-up, the crunch, the flexibility test, and then we do a cardio test on the treadmill, where I put them on the treadmill and they have the whole complete power over the test. They just show me how fast they can get to a mile. Then I test their heart rate to see where their heart rate is for the level they were working at. And then we talk about how to work at their heart rate, and I teach them that. And
I think that's what people want, feel comfortable. It's not a pass-fail. It's just understanding where you are at this point, so that then, and a good trainer needs to know that, because they're not going to have you jump in, throw you on a treadmill, just say start doing these weights. My recommendation, if that is how it's approached, you may want to research and interview some other personal trainers. And I want to talk about the interview process, because when we were preparing for today's segment a couple of days ago, one of the things you talked about too was the connection with your personal trainer. You're not going to click with everybody. So if you go to a personal trainer and you don't necessarily feel comfortable, have a good experience in the first session, that doesn't mean that you don't personally train. Maybe you need to interview some others, correct?
I agree completely. And I think some places will try to get you to jump right in with them and make a big commitment. I personally don't recommend that. And I tell people when they ask me, if a trainer pushes a lot of sessions on you right away, be careful, because you might not like them, and then you're stuck with, maybe 10 or 12 sessions left, and you're thinking, I don't like this person, and I have to keep going because I invested all this money into it. So I always let people do what they're comfortable with at the beginning, and then I said, if you like me and you feel good and safe and you want to try this, then you pay me for as many as you want.
I think that's so critical.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about the testing that you do, like for example the endurance test, they get on the treadmill, and you like to gauge them for 1 mile.
Yes.
So however long it takes them, doesn't matter how fast, how slow.
They have complete power and control over it. So, and I usually tease them and say, this is the last time you're going to have complete control over something, because after that, then I jump in and then I start helping. But yeah, and then the fun part is, you go back 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years later, and sometimes and I keep all that stuff, we pull it out, and it's amazing the progress that they make. And I mean, I have my oldest client is 72 years old. So, and she does a pretty good mile, you know.
Well,
so.
and I wasn't into exercise when I was in my, early 20s. I got into this very late in my 20s.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I'm in far better shape today
Yeah.
than I was when I was in my, teens and 20s.
Me
so,
too.
Yeah,
Me
so
too.
it's kind of interesting. And,
Oh, yeah.
and I always want to get better every year.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fighting father time is a whole
I
nother
know.
story.
I'm right there with
but,
you. I
yeah,
know.
we just work a little bit harder.
Definitely.
And eat a little bit better. I
know.
can't cheat as much.
No.
Yeah.
Don't get away with it.
Getting back to then your testing, the other thing I liked a lot that you said you kind of finish with too after a first session, you do the interview, you do the testing, get comfortable. Posture.
Yes.
Talk about posture and why it's important.
Well, I think this is something I always do the first session because it's so important, especially a lot of us work at a desk all day, and I think people that work at a desk all day have the hardest time because they can't move during the day. They're stuck there. They're working really hard, but they're working with their brain, and their body is just sitting there. So a lot of them, including my own husband who works at a desk, they start to get the forward head where they start to just move forward and everything starts to roll. It puts a tremendous amount of strain on your back, your nervous system, your ligaments, everything. And then you start to have all these back problems. So right away I test them, and all it is you just have them stand straight ahead, and you want the ear to be right in the center of the shoulder. So if the ear is forward, and anybody could do this with each other. You could have your...
We're going to demo that later.
Yes. It's a simple test. So then all you want to do is you got to start pulling your shoulders back, pulling out your chest, and sucking in your core. And just practice this everywhere you go. And at first it feels kind of goofy. You feel like you're like walking like this. But eventually you start to realize how much you were really rolling forward, and you start to feel better. And there's stretching things you can do too for that as well.
And I like to tell people too, it's a quick, look thinner tip.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Because when you're like this,
yeah.
Everything's kind of like poochy. And
yeah.
When you're like this, like instant 5 pounds kind of
sure.
off.
Plus you look more confident, I think, too, when you stand nice and tall than when you're, all rolled forward.
Yes, and people love people that look like, they feel confident, know what they're doing.
I agree.
And people talk about, I'm going to get off subject just a tiny bit here, but when people talk about looks, and they think it's all about just that physical beauty of, is my hair and my makeup and my, everything perfect.
Yeah.
There's so much about beauty that has to do with style and how you carry yourself and how you talk. And, if you exude, a little confidence and a little smile and happiness, and it's an easy thing everybody can do.
I agree.
Look and feel so much better.
Yes.
Okay, now you've been kind. They've done their first session, and now your next agenda item is, okay, now you like me, I like you. I'm going to lead this thing because you need to have your trainer lead, right?
Yes.
If you're going to get results.
I always tell people, trust me that I'm going to take you where you need to go to get where your goals are. However, there's certain things that they have to stop you. I mean, if they have any joint pain at any time during any workout, everything has to stop immediately. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, everything stops for joint pain. Mm-hmm. But other than that, if you feel like you're a little uncomfortable, and sometimes your brain is telling you, okay, stop, this is too much. Mm-hmm. You have to push past that. That because your body's not used to it. So your brain is going to try, especially if you're doing cardio. Mm-hmm. If you're on the treadmill and I'm trying to get somebody to run who's never ran before, mm-hmm. Your brain will send messages like, that's it, it's enough, stop. Mm-hmm. You're going to get hurt. You have to ignore that. You have to push through it. Unless there's something hurting you, you have to push through those fears, because some of it's fear of something we didn't do before.
You know what? I like to think of it like dancing. Somebody's got to lead and somebody's going to follow. But when you're dancing, you're communicating the whole time. Even the person who's following is saying, if the feet aren't connecting, and the arms aren't connecting, if you're dancing, together.
Definitely.
Same thing with personal training.
Yeah.
You want that interaction, but somebody's got to lead and kind of take charge if you want to achieve your goals.
Yep, that's true.
A book you like a lot for your clients, Strength Training for Dummies.
Yes.
So give them a little homework
It's
to
actually
do.
Weight Training for Dummies. I gave you the wrong name. I gave you the wrong name when I got home. I looked at it. It's good. I actually don't recommend it for all my clients, but I do recommend it to people who can't really afford a personal trainer. So if you can't afford one, it's a good starting tool. It's very basic, and it's going to help you understand how to work your body and make sure you train your body evenly. Mm-hmm. A lot of people go to the gym not really sure what to do and end up creating imbalances in their body because they do stuff they really like, they ignore other things, and not really realizing that they're creating imbalances, which then are going to create other problems.
When you talk about to clients that maybe don't have the budget to do a large amount of sessions or do it frequently, you also said, it's nice to maybe start with a personal trainer, maybe do an intro, get a little plan for yourself, and then maybe in conjunction with a book like that, or find a book, that works for you.
Definitely.
Then you can continue the exercises at home, get a video, do something on your own. But it's kind of like nice to maybe even use a combination, but have a personal trainer, at least get you the basics, get you started, let you understand your baseline, and then you can build from there.
I agree.
So it doesn't have to be a huge financial investment.
No, and again, back to picking a trainer. If a trainer will only train you if you come to them 3 days a week, that would make me uncomfortable as well. Because not everybody can afford that or have the time for that.
And time, I was going to say, money's important, but so is time.
Sure.
People are so concentrated with time today. We
Definitely.
we have way too much going on for, the amount of time we have in the day.
Definitely. Yeah.
Let's talk about group training, because you're a fan of group training. You think there's great value and it's motivating. So what's the value in group training?
I think, it's very social. I think when you motivate, you push each other, and then as you accomplish things, you have that feedback from the other clients in the room, and you could do it, or you can do, and it becomes, a lot of my clients become friends. They meet in the gym, they become friends and do things outside of the gym. And they look for each other. If they come in and that person's not there and someone else, they're like, oh, well, where's so-and-so? Oh, okay. They really get close. Like I said, this is a very intimate relationship. And it also becomes intimate with your workout partners. So that's another way to defray costs. If you have somebody that wants to work out, you can go and split the cost with a trainer. Plus, you're with one of your friends.
Now, how many will you do at a time? Up to 5?
For me, I'll do 5 at the most, just because of my space. I have a private gym, but if I had a bigger space, I would do more.
I think it's nice though, because 5, you want to make sure you want to watch everybody's form.
Definitely.
Because people lose sight of it's not about just the weight. Form is critical.
Huge.
Yep.
Huge.
And I think a personal trainer too gives you that knowledge. I even know with myself, and especially when I'm doing Pilates, it's very difficult for me, as long as I've been doing it, as much as I've studied. I could have like the slightest little adjustment on my form that makes a difference, that I just kind of fall into a little bit of a lackadaisical position without even realizing it.
Definitely.
And when you're lifting weights, even doing a curl, people don't realize sometimes if you just tweak your form a little bit, you can get twice the results.
Right. And I think if you've been lifting for a while, it's easy to get kind of lazy with it, with your form. I mean, I have clients that have been with me since I started, and I'm still correcting their form, and I tell them, just because you've been doing this, doesn't mean you could rush through a lift and just forget about it and move on to the next thing. Take your time, do it right, use the correct form, and then move forward.
And we all have good and bad days. So when
Sure.
you're having a bad day, maybe your form isn't as good as it was the last time. That's all right. That's what your trainer's there to make sure you're staying on point.
Definitely.
Nutrition. You do have a certification in sports nutrition, which is nice. A lot of personal trainers only have, the exercise.
Yes, I really enjoy talking to my clients about food and cooking, and I've gone to their house and looked at their food. I offer to go to the grocery store with them and help them shop. It's kind of confusing. There's a lot of mixed messages out there.
Well, and I don't think people realize it's 50% diet, 50% exercise.
Definitely.
And exercise I include flexibility.
Yeah.
No, because if you're not putting the right fuel in, you can't get the results. I don't care how much exercise you do.
Right.
Exactly.
And we
the right
see people like
nutrients.
that at the gym. You see people that work really hard. I've had clients that work so hard, but then they go home and then they do it. You can't just do whatever you want and work out hard 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week.
A couple of the points, and you touch on them. I like the fact that you definitely will go in a client's home. You will go through their kitchen. You'll tell them these are the things you need. These are the staples you need to have. These are the things that you should go.
Yes.
And I always like to suggest keep that home environment that you control clean, because there's enough.
Absolutely.
There's enough temptation to eat the bad stuff when you're out. Yeah.
I tell mine the same thing. If it's something that is a weakness, don't bring it in the house. Right. Don't say you're bringing it in for your husband or your kids, because they don't need it either. Just don't even buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're also very big on where the food comes from.
Yes.
And I know, I'm not a meat eater, but you are. But talk to me about how focused you are on, for example, where your meat comes from.
Well, we order our beef from a local farmer, and we have it cut the way we want it. We don't buy any red meat from the grocery stores. We try, like for Thanksgiving, we buy from a local farmer. We get our turkey locally. So we try to eat as clean protein as we can, because unfortunately nowadays with factory farming, they're doing so much stuff to the meat that they're really diminishing the value of the protein. It's not the same protein that we had when we were kids. And that's a whole big thing that I go off on all the time, but because it really upsets me that this is allowed to be going on. Eating Animals is a great book if you want to really look at what's going on. It'll change the way. Or China Study is a great book. And those books really, if you want to learn and teach yourself, you don't need to hire a nutritionist to learn this stuff. You can get these books and read it and really learn what's going on.
And I have to say, just as a disclaimer, there are a variety of opinions out there, you know.
Definitely.
But you have to find what appeals to you, talk it over with your doctor, then talk it over with an exercise and nutrition person, and kind of find what works for you. But I also want to say about grocery stores too, we've been very fortunate today. There is so much on a label. So you can find good quality things, read the label, and don't be afraid to spend a little bit of extra money for the better quality food. Because at the end, it's definitely worth it, you know?
Absolutely. And really, our food doesn't really cost that much. A lot of the junk is expensive, but the good food, some of it is going to cost you a little bit more. But I would rather sacrifice some of the other stuff and think of how much stuff we blow on stuff.
Money, exactly.
Right. I mean, maybe drink your coffee at home instead of stopping and picking up coffee every day, and then use that money towards buying better foods and whole foods.
And like you say, if you keep it clean, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, your lean proteins, you know, learn how to buy the quality stuff. And I don't think there's any pill or supplement or drink that's going to do for you what good quality food is. I can't reinforce that enough.
I agree.
You eat protein with every meal?
I wouldn't say I eat it with every meal, but I do eat animal protein.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I like my eggs.
Yeah, I do.
I like my fish.
Probably 3. I guess I do. I don't really think about it.
Because you do it out of habit.
I just kind of eat. I try to eat healthy all the time, and I just kind of mix it whatever I'm in the mood. And I'm kind of one of those people that, I mean, I can have a piece of chicken for breakfast. I'm just weird like that. I can eat weird foods for breakfast. Weird. Yeah, it's just who I am. So I don't necessarily have the eggs, but sometimes I do that too.
And you know, people will eat bacon and sausage. Why not eat a nice lean piece of chicken?
Yeah.
Leftovers from dinner.
I love it. I love that stuff.
Yeah, we have friends that'll go out and like they usually go out, you know, many nights, 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
So the next morning, you know, they'll make themselves, you know, one whole egg and a couple egg white omelet with whatever, the fish or the chicken or the meat or whatever was left over, and they get it prepared, broiled or grilled, so they don't have a lot of fat.
Exactly.
Throw a bunch of veggies in, and they get this huge omelet that's quite healthy.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. One more thing.
Okay.
Fast food. You said, you know, we know in today's world that sometimes it's the easiest. You know, time is of the essence. You know, the kids have the games, whatever's going on. You do tell your clients how to order better at a fast food restaurant, correct?
I do. I spent some time doing this basically because my boys all wrestle, and they have to diet, and they have to have a certain weight, and they have to maintain that weight. And it's frustrating for them because their friends are all going out, and I said, let me figure out what's healthy out there. So I just sat there one day and just pulled up all the numbers of all the fast food, and you'd be surprised how much good food, or not good food necessarily.
But you can get lower
Definitely.
Get broiled and grilled instead of fried.
Definitely. Like McDonald's has some really good items on their menu that you wouldn't. They have yogurt with fruit, they have oatmeal with fruit. They have a lot of different things that you can get. If everybody else is getting junk, you can go and say, well, at least I can eat something.
Grilled chicken sandwiches most places have.
Chick-fil-A's grilled sandwich is pretty good for you. That's one of the better ones. So.
Burger King has a veggie burger. So I will sometimes get that with lettuce, tomato, no bun.
Yeah.
I will get a couple of them.
Sure.
So baked potatoes are usually available.
Yeah.
Like you say, and now all the fast food restaurants will give you a nutrition.
I love that.
Yes.
I do.
Look at the calories, look at the fat grams. You know, I would say those are the first 2 most important things. You know, then look at your sodium if you have high blood pressure.
Yes.
Want to keep that in check.
Yeah. I think it's good because it's putting pressure on them to give us better foods.
Yes. Real quick about the wrestling. I know because wrestling over the years especially with these kids, you know, they would diet down and diet down and diet down to get in the right waist class. You do some speaking, and I think you work with the wrestling team, I know, especially where Steven's involved, correct?
Yeah, I've done some work with the coach and helped give him some pointers on how to help the kids know how to eat and how to help the kids eat on competition day. Wrestling is one of those sports where you go into a tournament and you're there for 10 hours, and they may be wrestling 5 or 6 times. They have to manage that fuel very carefully. So I've given him some help with those kind of things. It's a different sport.
But, and the point being too, even if you have kids and you want to know about this, that would be a great reason to call you. You can do a session on something specific if you would like.
Yes.
And, you know, like I said, great advice. And bring the kids with you.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
I know you've worked with some kids.
I have.
Do you enjoy the kids? They listen better?
You know what? It's funny. I did more work with the student athletes than I'm doing lately. And they come for all different reasons. Sometimes, and this is something that I'd like to say, you know, as a parent, if you want your your child who's an athlete to work out, you have to make sure they're in on this. You can't push it on your kids, because kids that come in that want to be there work really hard and make huge accomplishments. But if you're doing it because your parents want you there, they don't really get into it. They don't buy into it. They have to want it for themselves.
And they have to understand, you know, why you're doing it. If they know, don't just tell them to do it. Explain to them, if you do this, the benefit, the better result is going to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times it's a maturity thing. I notice once their sophomore year, they start to really get more interested. That 8th grade freshman, they're usually not that interested, and they're kind of looking at me like, I don't know why I'm here. You know, but once they get that sophomore year and they start to realize, if I want to be a varsity athlete, I need to step it up. And getting stronger is definitely part of it.
Girls going through that tough age of, like, you know, those teenage years, you know, I always tell them those tough years usually between 10, 11, 12, 14, you know, just keep your self-esteem strong, try to eat a little bit better, and, you know, you may not feel like a beauty, but most of them are so much more beautiful than they see when they look in the mirror. So, you know, getting into a little exercise and learning how to eat's a real advantage for them.
Definitely. And the other thing, I think the kids need to be involved. I think as a parent, it helps to have your kids be involved in something, whether it's a team sport or something in the school.
Well, something in the school. Or,
athletic is good.
Yes, and you know what I try to tell parents too? Get involved in, make walking like a family. You know, it's so easy to get out there and walk.
I love that,
Usually when the weather's a little bit better. But, you know, and do things if you have a pet. You know, fun things with your dog. Take a Frisbee out or a ball, go throw it out. You know, and a ball's a simple, inexpensive thing. Throw it around, play catch, play kickball, do whatever.
And we have Mill Creek Park.
Yes, beautiful.
I mean, my kids and I lived down there when they were little. We were there every day. Just take them out. Don't let, you know, you don't need to stay in the house. Go move.
Bikes are a great investment for a family.
Definitely, yes.
And a lot of bike trails around. We want to get down into a workout a little bit and do some demonstrations. So thank you so much. We'll get a little active here.
Okay, sounds good, Mary.
Okay, here we are in the gym. And I know you really like stability balls. I know you like bands. And one of the things we wanted to focus on today for our viewers are things that, if they're on a budget, things they can do at home, things that a personal trainer can show you and then you can take and carry on with.
Okay.
You're a big fan of medicine balls.
I do like them.
And I love them. I don't know that much about them, so I'm going to be a good one too. You're going to demonstrate some of the things, and if you want me to jump in, let me know.
Okay.
But to our viewers, this is a good example to show them, as good as I am and as fit as I am, when you start something you're not used to doing, or you do a new exercise for the first time, you don't do it with perfect form and look great. I may be able to demo that if she shows me something I don't normally do. But anyway, let's grab the medicine ball. She brought 2 sizes.
I brought 2 different sizes, and they could be used for different things. The 4-pound is more of a beginner. So I would recommend if a female perhaps is just beginning, to start with a 4 or 6-pound medicine ball.
Now you're going to be sexist. You mean if someone's just starting and they want to start with the 4-pound, it could be a guy or a girl,
You know what?
right?
Honestly, if it was a guy, I'd probably say start with 8.
Okay.
I would. I'd have them start a little higher.
So you have the stability ball, and you're going to do V-ups?
Okay. There's two different ways. I'm going to show a beginner way to do a V crunch and a more advanced. So when you're just starting out, you're going to come up with one leg at a time. And you're going to just alternate back and forth like this.
All right, now quick question.
Yes.
Where is, and I just want to show our viewers, for example, with your core, are you in a neutral position so I can put my arm through?
Yes.
Or do you want that core pressed to the...
Well, you want to hold your core in, for sure.
So just like you were holding your tummy in?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. So this is a beginner, and if you feel like this is a little bit easy, then you can go into 2 legs at a time. So your head and shoulders come up and meet at the top. So you don't want to just work the legs, you want to work your upper body as well and meet at the top.
And this looks a lot easier than it is. It's a very difficult exercise.
Yeah, it can be, especially if you
When
get
you're
into the
doing 2
heavier
legs.
balls.
Yeah.
So as it gets easier for you, then you go up and you get the heavier balls.
Okay.
You can also do a slide, go side to side.
For the obliques or the side muscles?
Yes. So you can do that as well. The other thing that I like about this is you can also put it in between your knees, and you could just do a crunch like this. You could get a little twist, or you could go forward.
Okay,
Like
and
that.
I'm going to slow you down just a little bit while you're doing it, because when your hands are behind your head, something you always want to tell your clients, I know you do, don't pull with your hands.
Absolutely. A lot of times too, if I see somebody pulling, or if you feel like you're pulling, just put your hands to the side like this. If you go like this, we tend to pull. So just kind of go to the side like that.
Without having your hands connected?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now how are you breathing? Blowing out when you come up, inhaling when you go back?
Yes. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
The other thing I like about the medicine ball
Put you here.
is you can do push-ups on them. You could do a plank on the medicine ball.
Now, how many pounds is that one?
This is the big one. This is 12.
Okay.
This is heavier. Okay, so you can go into plank position.
I have done these with the big exercise ball. I have not done them with the medicine ball. Go ahead.
Would you like to try it?
Oh, go ahead.
It's a little more advanced, so I
Okay.
wouldn't have somebody beginner.
Viewers,
holding
this will tell you I've never done this, so I don't know what I'm going to look like. So where do you want my hands now? Okay.
Just hold it like that.
Okay,
That's
now down
perfect.
and up.
That's when you push up. That's really good. And those are very difficult push-ups, and you're really hitting your triceps on those.
Now I can tell you, I do push-ups in my
You're doing
workout.
really good with that. That's not an easy push-up.
No, it isn't. And it is a good one. And I'll tell you what people, like you say, and with plank,
Yeah.
it's difficult. With that core, your stomach has to be held in, held tight, and that is
Yes.
a difficult
It's
position.
very
People don't
difficult.
realize it.
Very difficult. Definitely not a beginner exercise, but you can work your way up to that.
Yes.
Yes.
Next.
Okay. The other thing you can do with the medicine ball that I love is you can do slams with the medicine ball. And we could do this with each other if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay. With this, I'm going to start over my head and I'm going to
Okay.
slam it on the ground.
Okay.
Okay. And it's a full body, so you go into a full squat and I'm going to slam it towards you and you're going to catch it as it comes up.
Okay. I've
Okay.
never done this either, guys.
Okay. So I'm not going to go real hard this first time.
Okay.
So just watch the ball and then you're going to take it. And then you're going to slam it back. Good. So you're going to start up, full body, really get your heart rate up. Good.
That is a heavy ball
Isn't it
when you're
cool?
doing it like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you
great.
slam.
This is great for, we're talking about families with your kids.
Oh,
Hello.
definitely. Right like that. That's it.
Too bad I can't teach Sal to catch a ball. My little dog and I could be doing this, right?
So that's another
Great.
thing. Those are some of the ones that I really like with the medicine ball. Also, rubber bands are another thing that I really like. That's something you can have at home if you can't really afford equipment. Rubber bands are great.
And when you travel.
Oh yeah, throw them in your suitcase.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, grab a band.
Okay, all right. First thing I'm going to show you is the TRX band.
Okay.
Okay. This is full body on this TRX band. Any body part you're going to hit, okay? So for example, I'm going to do a row.
Okay, now our viewers aren't going to be able to see you,
Let me
so
slide this
let's
way.
go that way.
How about this way?
And I'm going to
Okay,
sneak around.
this is a row and this works your back.
Okay.
Okay, the thing with these bands is the farther down you go, the harder the exercise gets. So as a beginner, you're going to start about right here. You're just going to pull back and then you're going to go down. Just pull.
A little bit like a lat row. If you're in a gym and
That's
you
all
see.
it is.
Yep.
But it's bands.
Yes.
Okay, so go down a little lower and down.
And you're using your full body weight.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a great exercise. And there's an attachment, you could hook it on a door. So if you're at a hotel, you can just hook it on your door. Turn it the other way and it's a push-up. Okay, and again, the lower you go, the harder this is. I'm just gonna come down and push.
That's a very hard exercise.
Yeah, the lower you go, the harder it is. And this is your chest.
Which would be your pectoral muscles and right across, keeping that area nice and tight.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So legs, if you want to do legs, you can do a one leg squat, like this, which these start to burn after a while.
And you're holding your core tight through all of this.
Definitely, in good posture. You want to be nice and tall. You don't want to be leaning forward. So stand nice and tall, just come down and up. Then you switch and do the other leg. Okay.
Your form is so good. I know you're big on squatting. Let's demo, because there are certain points to a squat that are really important.
Okay. The first thing is when you do a squat, you don't want your knees to go past your toe line. And by that I mean, if you had a line from the top of your toe, the tip of your toe to the ceiling, the knee cannot break that line.
Okay.
That's the first rule. The other one is the hip can't go past the knee line. So there it is right there. That's your perfect squat, right down there. So you see my knee's not over the toe, the hip's not past the hips.
Yep.
So that's it.
And like I said, just practicing this for somebody who doesn't work out, it's a good exercise.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you could hold on. If you feel like you're a little unstable, just grab the bands and hold on.
Great idea.
Yeah, it'll give you a little
point.
balance.
Yep.
Like that.
Posture. You can demo on me. Talk
Okay.
about what you look for in posture.
Okay.
I'm going to stand.
So just stand straight ahead.
Want my hair up?
Okay. Yeah, you have pretty good posture here. You're forward maybe just a little bit, which isn't a lot at all. I am a little bit as well.
I'm this at the desk, you know, in all, you know, a good part of the day.
Right.
And I'll tell you, before I ever did exercise, when I was younger, growing up, you know, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. I didn't feel good about my body. This is how I would walk around.
Aw.
And until I got, you know, into
Yeah.
fitness and so on, really, it like opened up a whole new world.
Oh, yeah.
I literally, I think, was like this for the first, you know,
Sure.
20 years of my life.
Yeah. Because you stand real tall now.
I practice well, and I think too, when you exercise and you have a stronger body, I have a stronger core. So I have, you know, a stronger upper body, you know, and I'm very conscientious about it. And plus, I want to make sure, you know, I'm the kind of body that's an apple with a little poochy tummy. I always want to look my best, so I'm kind of tucking in that little tummy and focused on my posture.
Right, right.
So tell them what you're looking for in a line.
Okay.
So people
when you're
know.
looking for is you just want to have somebody stand forward and you're looking for the center of the shoulder and draw a line right up and see if it meets the middle of the ear. That's perfect posture if your ear. And like I said, you're just a little bit forward.
And you can almost look in the mirror and judge and do it to yourself a little bit.
It's good to have somebody do it. And you got to really relax. You can't like go, okay, do it. You know, just be yourself, pretend you're having a conversation, and then just have somebody check it for you.
Now, what do you look for in the back, in the spinal area?
When
Like for the posture, like, you know, this and this.
yeah, you just want to pull everything in and keep your back straight. You don't want to droop, especially when you do any of the lifts at all. You don't ever want to roll your back. We could talk about the weightlifter's arch if you want. That's something that I teach everybody about. Whenever you do, especially when you're doing squats, the weightlifter's arch, you want to keep your back as flat and exaggerated. Kind of stick your butt out more than you normally would. It protects your lower spine. For example, if you're going to do a squat and you're going to roll, your back is rolled, and then you have all this strain going through your back. But if you keep everything pulled back, and that weightlifter's arch, and it's nice and flat, then your back is safe.
See, these are the kind of things, and just a little bit we've talked about, you know, today, that I think really show the value of having a personal trainer, somebody that knows and understands the body and can get you in alignment for you. And the other thing I think people don't understand, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's a little bit off, you know, so what your particular needs are to get you in proper alignment are probably unique to you.
Definitely. And when people first come in, their imbalances in their body naturally through their lifestyle show very quickly.
Yes.
And then it's our job to fix those.
You know, that's functional training is key, because when we talk about functional training, how do you function in your daily life?
Exactly.
For example, if you have little children, are you constantly having to pick them up? You know, you want to do exercises that are going to strengthen the body parts for that.
Right.
If you have a desk job, like we talked about, you know, if you are somebody who has a job that has a lot of physical heavy lifting in it, maybe you want to do some stretching and some, you know, relaxation and meditation.
Sure.
You know, we talked about cardio, we talked about strength. Flexibility is important. You know, what do you have your clients do to stretch?
You know what, I've actually just started doing this, maybe in the last few months. You know, we would talk about stretching and I would show them stuff and tell them to do it when they leave or whatever. Now what I'm doing is towards the end of the workout, I incorporate a station for a minute and they do stretches. So towards that end, that last 10 minutes, we start incorporating some just little stretches.
Do you like stretches on the floor? Do you like stretches standing?
You can do both. It depends on what your issue is. Like some people, I find that as far as the flexibility, a lot of people have real tight hamstrings. So we do a lot of stretching of that lower back.
Want to demo one?
Yes. This is something you can do. This is one that you could put your foot on a ball, or you could just come up like this. And you could just stretch out like this. This is through your butt and your hamstrings right here.
And all you're doing, laying on the floor, crossing one leg over.
Simple.
Holding. And how long do you like to hold a stretch?
15, 20 seconds. Don't bounce. Some people like to get into a stretch and they really, that's not good. You can really tear something. So just pull and hold.
Very important, because you want that muscle to start to lengthen and relax, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah. And then just pull and hold the other one. Okay. One of the other things I like to do, and I'll show you this since we're on the subject, for the lower back, is on the stability ball. I'll show you this. This one's a little small, but I can do this. You're just going to lay on the stability ball like this, and you're just going to bring your hands up like that. And then just roll them down and roll them up. This really helps strengthen your lower back into your butt. Plus, it's just a good stretch. This is something we do too towards the end of the workout. And just pull.
That's great. Robin, you've been such an inspiration. If our viewers want to contact you, they call
330-550-2807.
Okay, and your gym your location is at your home?
Yes.
So when you call, you will give them directions. It's in Boardman?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
I thank you so much for being with
It's
us.
fun.
If our viewers have questions, send them to info@thefitness.com and we will forward them on to Robin if you would like her advice on anything. And I look forward to having a couple of workouts with you, getting some new techniques.
Come to my gym and we'll work out.
Yes, it'll be fun. I thank you so much for joining me. It's awesome.
Thank
Give
you very
Stephen
much.
my love.
I will. Thank
and
you.
tell him to tell my stepson Stephen I said my
will.
love, his coach.
I will.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching. I'm Mary Pipino and this is Fit for You.